Elias discovered the grid doesn't want to be understood. There's a difference between mystery and refusal. A mystery is something you can solve. A refusal is something that punishes you for trying. And Elias learned the worst truth of all. The grid isn't hidden, it's defensive. Not defensive like an animal. Defensive like a system protecting itself from being named. Because naming something makes it real. And the grid doesn't want to be real in the way humans understand reality. Elias stopped sleeping, not because he was afraid, because every time he closed his eyes, his mind tried to assemble what he'd seen, and the assembling hurt, like trying to remember a dream you weren't meant to keep. So he did what people do when they're losing trust in their own brain. He started writing things down, not poetry, not theories, just a list, facts only. Door labeled 0, vanished after exit. Email from self, timestamp tomorrow, doorway barrier. Object stopped mid-threshold, dust rectangle. Try again. He wrote them in clean lines, numbered, neat handwriting, like order could protect him. Then he drew a square, a hallway, a door, a bathroom, simple geometry. And the moment his pen touched paper, the ink faded. Not all of it, just the line he was drawing. Like the page rejected the shape. Elias stared at it, drew again. The ink faded again. He pressed harder, angry now. This time the paper tore, not slowly. It ripped straight down the center like it had been pre-cut. Elias froze, because it wasn't accidental. It was too clean, like the notebook had decided. No diagrams. Elias tried again on a fresh page. He wrote words instead. He wrote the grid, and the second. He finished the final letter. His bedroom lamp flickered, not once, 3 times, precise, like a warning. Elias swallowed and stared at the page. Then he wrote, "Why?" The lamp turned off. The room went dark, not blackout dark, just lamp dark. The rest of the apartment still had power. The lamp was just off. Elias stood, walked to it, tapped the switch. Nothing. Then he looked back at the notebook. The words weren't there anymore. Not erased, not smeared, gone, like they had never been written. But the indentations remained, the pressure of his handwriting, a ghost of meaning pressed into the paper. Elias whispered, "Okay." He wasn't speaking to the room. He was speaking to something that had begun responding to him, something that wasn't a voice, but absolutely was a presence. He grabbed his laptop. He didn't want to be alone inside his own thoughts. He needed noise, information, anything. So he did something stupid. He searched for it. Not the grid, not explicitly. He searched for symptoms. Door appears, then disappears. Email from yourself, future timestamp. Doorway, invisible barrier. But the results were wrong. Not no results. Wrong. The pages that loaded weren't relevant. They weren't even real looking. It was like the internet had been replaced by imitation. Forums that didn't exist. Dates that didn't make sense. Comments that repeated the same sentence. Elias clicked one thread and scrolled. Every single user reply said, "Stop looking," over and over. Different usernames, same sentence, hundreds of times. Elias's chest tightened. He refreshed the page. Now the thread was gone. 404. He clicked back. Google looked normal again. He searched the same terms. Nothing. Like the system had corrected itself. Elias leaned back in his chair and stared at the ceiling. He didn't feel fear. He felt insulted, like something had touched his mind directly. Elias opened a blank document, typed slowly. I saw a door numbered 0. As soon as he typed 0, the font changed, not the number. The whole document. It changed into symbols, not random symbols. They felt structured, like code, but code designed by something that didn't need language. Elias deleted the line. The symbols stayed. He hit backspace, held it down. Nothing. The cursor moved. The symbols did not disappear. The file name at the top changed by itself, untitled to unreadable. Elias slammed the laptop shut. The room was silent. His breathing sounded too loud. Then his phone vibrated. No notification, no sound, just vibration. He picked it up. It displayed one line. No sender, no number. Just text on a black screen. Understanding is not permitted. Elias threw the phone onto the couch like it was hot. Elias paced. The apartment now felt like an interview room, not because it had changed, but because his mind had been categorized. He was no longer a person living in space. He was a problem being tracked. And the most disturbing part, it wasn't attacking him. It was limiting him. Every time he tried to define it, the world gently, efficiently interfered. Not with violence, with correction, like your computer auto-fixing a typo, except the typo was his curiosity. Elias sat at the kitchen table again, opened the notebook. This time he wrote only one word: door. Nothing happened, no flicker. So he wrote hallway, nothing. He wrote message, still nothing. Then he wrote map, and the kitchen clock ticked wrong. Not louder, wrong. It skipped. The second hand jumped forward, then back, then forward again. Elias stared at the clock. It was like time itself was buffering. Then the second hand stopped completely. The clock continued to display the correct time without moving, an illusion of progress, a performance. Elias whispered, "You don't want me to understand." The lights in the kitchen dimmed a fraction, not off, just dimmer, as if the room approved the statement, but wanted him to stop there. Elias sat perfectly still. He decided to do something dangerous. Nothing, no search, no writing, no resisting, just silence. And in that silence he noticed something he hadn't before. The background hum of his apartment wasn't consistent. The refrigerator hums, the building air, the distant city. It was all slightly coordinated, like noise arranged itself to cover something else. Elias focused deeper, like listening for someone outside your door. And then, for one moment, the hum dropped, just a dip, a gap, and inside that gap, he felt it, a shape, not visual, not audible, a structural presence, like a huge object behind a wall, so close you can feel its weight through the air. Not a monster, not a ghost, a limit. Elias's skin prickled, his eyes watered instantly, like the body reacting to altitude, and in his mind, a thought arrived, not words, not a voice, a pressure of meaning. Don't. Elias blinked hard, his vision blurred. The hum returned, normal, like nothing happened, like his mind had misfired, but the message remained. He wasn't alone, and whatever was near him wasn't curious. It was enforcing boundaries. Elias stood and walked to his front door. He didn't know why. He just felt pulled toward it. He placed his hand on the door handle and waited. The handle was cold. He turned it slowly. The door opened. Normal hallway, normal light. But Elias didn't step out. He just stared. Then he looked down, at the floor, at the dust near his doorway. And there it was. A line, not a rectangle this time. A single sentence written in dust, right at the threshold. You can live without knowing. Elias whispered, "No." He spoke quietly, but the word carried weight. He wasn't refusing the grid. He was refusing a life of managed ignorance. That's when the hallway light flickered once, and Elias felt the same recognition again. Not fear, not surprise. That feeling like something had been waiting to see if he would do it. Elias closed the door and leaned against it, heart pounding, not from terror, from certainty, because now he understood the rule. The grid doesn't hide because it's fragile. It hides because it's in control. And if Elias wants answers, he won't find them by searching. Searching is allowed. Searching is noise. What isn't allowed is clarity. So Elias returned to his notebook, opened to a clean page, and instead of drawing a diagram, instead of writing theories, instead of naming anything, he wrote one sentence. A sentence the grid couldn't correct without revealing itself. If you don't want to be understood, you must be afraid of what I'll become when I finally do. He underlined it once, then twice, and as he capped his pen, his phone vibrated softly from the couch. He didn't look. He already knew, because the grid wasn't trying to scare him anymore. It was trying to manage him. And Elias had just done the one thing the grid hates most. He didn't ask a question. He made a declaration.